The vast majority of human history has been before the dawn of civilization. The way our ancestors lived during this time was dramatically different to how we live today. What was daily life like for humans in prehistory? As far back as 2.6 million years ago, the hominins who would eventually become modern humans had begun to use tools. These early humans lived in small nomadic groups and were constantly on the move. They would travel with the seasons, following the herds of animals they hunted and the growth of plants they gathered. Their diet consisted of wild plants, fruit, nuts, occasionally fish, and of course, meat from the animals they hunted. This required them to be expert trackers, and their weapons of choice were spears, clubs, and sharp rocks. Life was dangerous. There was no such thing as a police force to protect them from harm, no hospitals for when they got sick or injured, and there was always the threat of other nomadic groups wanting what they had. Despite this, humans managed to not only survive but thrive. After all, we are the only species of the genus Homo that is still around today. Fast forward a couple of million years, and humans had spread across the globe. During the last ice age, which lasted from around 11,500 to 12,900 years ago, humans would have experienced a world very different from our own. Much of the northern hemisphere would be covered in ice and snow, making large parts of the world stuck in a perpetual winter. Humans would have wrapped themselves in animal skins to stay warm and would have needed to build shelters to protect themselves from the elements. Small fires would have been essential to keep warm and to cook their food. If they could be bothered to bother, humans could expect to eat a mammoth or woolly rhinoceros burgers on their stone grill. Smaller prey animals, such as deer and bison, would also have been hunted, as well as fish and shellfish. Humans probably lived in small family groups during this time, and women would have spent a great deal of time gathering food, while men would have hunted or made tools. Since there was no metal available, these tools would have been made of stone, bone, or wood. They would have used these tools to cut, scrape, and polish hides to make clothing and accessories. They would also have used them to create weapons for hunting. Humans would have traveled with their herds of reindeer or mammoths, depending on the region, and would have followed a similar lifestyle to the nomadic groups of the previous Ice Age. The end of the Ice Age marked a turning point in history. As the temperatures rose and the ice melted, humans started to settle down in one place and grow their own food. This meant that they no longer had to follow the herds or gather wild plants. They could stay in one place and raise their own livestock and grow their own crops. This change in lifestyle led to the development of villages and eventually cities. People started to specialize in different tasks and became experts at what they did. Some people became full-time farmers while others became artisans, creating things like pottery, jewelry, and tools. This specialization allowed humans to produce more food and goods than ever before. And it also led to the development of new technologies. As people became more sedentary, they also became more susceptible to disease. Epidemics could wipe out entire populations, and there was no effective treatment for most illnesses. War and conquest also became more common as different groups competed for resources. Despite these challenges, humans continued to innovate and develop new ways of doing things. They created new tools, developed new agricultural techniques, and built larger and more complex structures. They also began to keep records and develop systems of writing. This period of innovation and development laid the foundation for the civilizations that would eventually emerge around the world. It was a time of great change and upheaval, but it was also a time of tremendous opportunity. The end of the Ice Age marked the beginning of human civilization. And it all started with one small step, the decision to settle down and grow your own food. This change in lifestyle allowed humans to specialize in different tasks, develop new technologies, and build more complex societies. It also led to new challenges, such as disease, war, and conquest, but these were simply a part of the human condition. Humans had entered the era of civilization, but they had not yet reached the peak of their development. That was still to come. Thanks for watching.